after 3 months of treatment, I had a scan. So they wanted to see how it looks and everything. And it apparently went halfway down, like half size. And the doctors, they were all like shocked because they're not normally seeing that
Mm-hmm.
process,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, and I, and I just knew like I never forget that feeling, like the happiness, and that gave me even more trust. And I'm kind of knew this is all connected to the affirmation. This is all connected to positive thinking. This is all connected to changing my mindset. And literally, like I needed to change the whole thing. This was a gift for me,
Mm-hmm.
even though some people might think like, "Are you crazy? How can this be a gift for me?" It was huge. For some people, needs to be this way. I was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm forever grateful, honestly. I'm forever grateful because uh, I don't think I would be sitting here.
I want to welcome everybody back to another episode of The Soul Inspired. Today we have Stanislava Karpatyova with us. She's had some experiences in her life that led her down into illness, but it looks like what's happened is she's found her way out of that and she's helping and healing others. And we're going to talk to her about her experience and all of that. So thank you so much, first of all. And as a short form, you've told me you go by Stana. So thank you, Stana, for being on the show today.
Thank you so much, Joe, for having me. I very appreciate that.
As I said before we started, I kind of handpicked certain people that I was really interested in their storylines when I first started Soul Inspired. And here I am. I think today I released episode I think it was either 90. So we're getting moving now in the show. So I'm really happy to get you on and talk about your experience. I always start by trying to get a little bit of information from you. I understand you do a lot of things in your life now, and I understand there was a particular incident in your life or a moment in your life that really changed things. But I want to kind of lead back from there a little bit and get to know a little bit about what your life was like when you were first little Stana. What was your life like? What was it like growing up?
Yeah, little Stana, you just said that, and I have a goosebumps all over my body because it's very, I guess it's a precious moment for every single person on the planet. So, yeah, little Stana was very scared, very insecure. My childhood was, I would say, like, it's funny because for many, many years, like many years, I always thought that my childhood was perfect. That's so funny. And like 5 years ago or 10 years ago, I was like, hang on, actually. And then it all started. So yeah, as a little child together with my sister, so we had like basically almost on daily basis we were watching our parents beating each other up. My father is an alcoholic, was an alcoholic, so that was my childhood. And I remember I never forget like when I was in a nursery or at school, I was always picked up the last, and I never forget those tears going down my cheeks,
Hmm.
waiting. It was dark, waiting for my dad to pick me up because he was always late. He always was in a pub or somewhere. So I was the last. So obviously, as a child, I did not feel secure at all. Not at all. I had
Right.
so much fear, so much insecurities that it showed up later in a life also, you know. And then to be able to sit here today and talking about that like I'm talking now, it's just incredible. And for me, it's a gift. For me, it's a gift. And I'm not sitting here as a victim. I'm sitting here as a grown-up woman who kind of decided to own her life. So that's how I would say that, like I'm not blaming them. It's a huge process. It's a huge process, all these traumas experiences. But I do believe that we choose certain life and certain path for a reason.
Hmm.
And this is why I'm here today talking to you because I chose every single part of that experience. And I always believe that the parents do the best they can. This is
Hmm.
I think, opinion, and it's so true because not many parents are open, not like they just do as much as they can do. And it goes back again to their childhood. So for me, my childhood was like that. And I always said that I never gonna be with a man who would touch me, like physically abuse me, because I saw that so many times. So this, I think, I manifested pretty beautifully. I have a husband now. We are together for 26 years. We have a beautiful daughter, and that's just magical. And it's really beyond. It's beyond. But that's a little bit later. So yeah, little Stana is now happy, I would say. She's happy.
Right.
She's happy. I'm with her. I'm connecting to her on daily basis. I'm playing like really life is fun playground and we should just play. We shouldn't be so serious because it's just short game. We are here for a little theater show. So we should just sit, relax, enjoy every single minute.
Wow.
So that's me and my childhood story,
Yeah,
little
and
part of.
I love how you said that you it seems like you've gone through, and we will talk a little bit about this, but you said something very profound there. You said, I believe you said little Stana is happy now. Little Stana is happy. So just curious about this, just my own curiosity, just being from I'm not sure where you grew up exactly, because maybe you moved. I think are you in Bali right now?
No, yeah, yeah. I
Now.
grew up in Slovakia.
In
Yeah.
Slovakia. Was there a
Mhm.
strong influence around religion growing up or any kind of influences around that? Because a lot of European areas are that way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There was like, yeah, like I remember, like we were forced to go to church every Sunday. And I'm not like I'm at the moment in my life that I'm not judging. Like I stopped judging because like we all have our own path. And I never forget my grandma. She was a beautiful person. She believed something, but it was like too much. Like it was this like Christianity, like you need to go there every week, da 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 da, da do stuff. And then they forced us to do. Like somehow internally, I knew like it's not okay. I could not explain to anyone. I just I just didn't feel comfortable to do that, but yet we have been forced because someone said that. So yeah, there was a lots of like religions, but like then later in the years as a teenager, obviously there was a shift for me, and I started to rebel
Mm,
everyone. I started to be really naughty and like oh my God, and drinking like probably every single person went through that because my father was really it's like he was abusing my mom, but at the same time also us. Not as much as my mom, but it was like yeah, proper. Yeah, we have been beaten up by him like
mm,
so many times also. So yeah, and this religion part is like yeah, it was a big influence. It had a big influence on our lives. So I was really happy to just leave home, honestly.
mm.
When I was like, I don't know, 17, 18, I left.
Okay, so you were going, yeah, and absolutely, I mean, you can still have a great experience with religion growing up, and I ask it from the curiosity standpoint, being is that it seemed like if you were going through this kind of torment. I always found it interesting that somebody will do that, but then line up at Sunday for church. Hopefully
Yeah.
they're going in and they're confessing their sins because they're doing some things that aren't that great. You know what I mean? So leading up to about 17, you said that's when you left and you had just dealt with all this trauma growing up, and now you're leaving at 17. How long did that early life go on before you ran into some trouble with the illness that you ran into? Was that through all your 20s or when
So
did
I
this?
just want to mention also like
Mhm.
a very interesting thing. Like when I was a teenager, I told myself somehow, I don't know how, I've just put the program in me and I said, huh, I know I'm not gonna live longer than 30 years old. I have no idea where did it come from. No
Mm,
idea. And this is also like I realized that maybe 5 years ago, I'm like, wow. And then what happened when I was 30, I was diagnosed with cancer.
mm,
Okay. And I'm
okay.
like, okay. So this is how powerful people we are. Just be mindful whatever you're thinking, whatever you wish for. So from 17 till like or 18 till I was diagnosed, like I was suffering with the depression. I had a huge panic attacks. That's how it started. And I smoked lots of weed and to run away from it, to really run away from that, what I feel really. I was a little bit like like short period of time I had some antidepressant, but I knew like it's not for me, so I did not continue. And that took a long years to experience these panic attacks. And I thank God my husband, he's a really like a pearl in all of this because he was there throughout the journey with me, for me, as a huge rock. So he was space holder, I call it now.
Mhm.
He was really a space holder for me to go through this. He didn't know how to help me because if you never experience panic attacks, you don't know, like
Mhm.
you don't know like what to do, what should I do. So I went through this a lot, and then it all led up to this diagnosis with cancer. There's like, yeah, I was so panicky, and I remember going to my GP because I used to live in UK every single week. Like, there's something wrong with me. Can you check my blood? So she was actually checking my blood for 6 months,
Mhm.
and then suddenly there was like something was not right. So she just asked me, "Have you ever had a chest X-ray?" And I said, "No." "Okay, let's do that." And that was it. Like, I did a chest X-ray, and she said, like, "Okay, you need to go to the hospital." And I had a tumor which was like 20 centimeters big on my chest, right? I
Mhm.
was shocked. Like, I was in a huge shock because back then I didn't know about natural remedies. I was shocked. Like the first shock went through my body, and then I was just okay, I need to get rid of it as soon as possible. Just do something. I want to get rid of it as soon as possible. So
Mhm.
by the time I was diagnosed, I was not aware, like, okay, what am I going to do? Sit with it? No way, no. So I went through chemotherapy. It was 6 months of chemotherapy, but with the chemotherapy, I started kind of the journey. Also, I started the journey of self-exploration. I started to go deeper within myself. I started to look at my diet. So I started slowly changing all the things which I had, which was on the internet, because like 12 years ago, it was not that much, but it was a lot. Now it's like overwhelming, really overwhelming. So I would say my real journey started after finishing the treatment. So
Mhm.
I started to do all these like affirmation, like every single scan I had, I never forget that. I just used affirmation for hour and a half, lying there. I'm healthy, I'm beautiful, I'm like whatever you can imagine. So this was my journey through the treatment, which was not nice experience at all. But I decided to leave. That was my like moment in my life where like life spoke to me and like, okay, girl, what are you going to do? Are you going to go or are you going to stay? It's
Mhm.
your choice. We always have a choice. So my choice was to leave, and that's where I was heading. That was
Wow.
like kind of start.
Yeah, I want to
Yeah,
jump on that. I want to jump on that for a moment because you said I decided to live. When you had that moment, that thought or that feeling, could have been, I'm sure you built up to it because I'm seeing that you did a lot because you did chemo, traditional kind of chemotherapy, but then you also started doing the alternate therapies too. It seems like changing your diet, eating better, all these things. But then it was that moment or that thought of I decided to live. Did you, this is going to sound kind of an odd question, but I'm curious. I'm curious, and it might not be what I'm thinking, but when you had that for sure, this moment, that moment where you decided, did you know you were going to be okay?
I knew that. I knew that.
Yeah.
That's just makes me want to cry. I just knew it. I
Hmm.
just like that was my big decision, and I never ever, never ever in my life was more in the present moment than this time. Never ever.
Hmm.
I did not see anyone else, anything else around me, just my recovery, myself, and my health. That was such a like powerhouse.
Hmm.
And I stick to that, and I just yeah, I want to live. There was no choice that is gonna be some other way, you know. So there was like a really this, I don't know where did it come from, this empowerment, because at the same time I was broke, I was worried, I was scared, I was like whatever, you know.
Mhm.
But somewhere deep, deep, deep inside was this like, you're gonna make it. You're gonna make it. I'm gonna make it. I want to live. This is not it, because I somehow knew that like this is not life as it's supposed to be. There's
Right.
much more. So yeah,
So you had
that's
decided
why
on that,
all
that's okay. I mean, it's a powerful moment, and I ask that because it's the same thing when I'm talking to people who um, have these close calls and they come back and they'll immediately, not immediately, but some of them will say, "Oh, I'm going to be okay." And of course, the doctors will look at them like, "You're not okay. Like it's not looking good." And like, "No, I'm going to be okay." And there's this like for sure there's this definite feeling that some of them get. They don't know how, but they know. Or they've crossed over and had this message relayed to them that they're going to be fine. So they come back and they have a lot of confidence in that. They're like, "Oh, I'm going to be okay." And it doesn't matter what they say, they're like, I know I'm going to end up being okay. I've had these conversations. So it's interesting that you did that in the now, in this human you didn't have to cross in order to get that feeling. So I find that fascinating. I hope that there's some power in that, that you can decide. And because there might be some people here that say, oh, well, that doesn't work for everyone, and there's going to be this type of thing. And I have empathy for all of that as well. But you have to really dig down deep and get that feeling to want to live, right? And in that moment, was it in that moment or was it a journey after that that you decided to kind of start looking at what we talked about, your upbringing, the things you've gone through and how to heal through that. Like what was the next direction you took once you decided that you were going to live?
yeah, this was a little bit right after, like I knew uh I'm always saying like once I stopped the treatment, my real journey started, I would say.
Mm,
Honestly, like my real journey. I knew that this is not the end. This is just the beginning, because I knew I felt my body. My body was weak. Like in a way, like I do believe I always trust this huge power of affirmations, because after 3 months of treatment, I had a scan. So they wanted to see how it looks and everything. And it apparently went halfway down, like half size. And the doctors, they were all like shocked because they're not normally seeing that
hmm
process,
hmm
right? Um, and I, and I just knew like I never forget the feeling, like the happiness, and that gave me even more trust. And I'm kind of knew this is all connected to the affirmation. This is all connected to positive thinking. This is all connected to changing my mindset. And literally, like I needed to change the whole thing. I needed to. It was really like a rebirth. Yeah, that's the word. Rebirthing. Slow process of rebirthing. And there is like it included like I needed to literally say stop to my parents. I needed to not to be with them. I
mm
needed to explain like I need to do this without you. It was a huge shock for them. I mean, the whole transformation was shocking for them. They did not accept new me till now. I did expect accept them, but they don't know how to do it, and it's okay. Yeah.
hmm
But at that moment, I really needed them to just go away because they live in London. It's basically I was looking after them. I was looking after every fucking single person around me, but not me. I was
hmm
lost. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what what does it mean being a woman. I didn't know I have a soul. I didn't know I have emotions. I didn't know I can work through all of it. So I was completely lost, before completely lost. So
hmm
one of the first step I needed to do, I needed to eliminate my parents from my life, like with love, with respect, and they needed to go. So, and that was very empowering for me.
mm. Okay, I want to
And I
speak.
needed to go through the process of not blaming them because I used to. there was like so many processes throughout the life because I used to blame them like this is why I got this, because I was not aware yet of all of this programming, of all of these processes, and yeah, yeah,
Wow. Okay. Yeah, there's a couple different areas I really want to touch on. Those This is really insightful. When we're talking about, because you said you said eliminating my parents from my life, and obviously that was at the time because you said you've reconnected, but you've accepted them, but it's been difficult for them to accept who you are.
yeah.
Um, how, but then you said you also don't want to be blaming them for the decisions they made. I think this is powerful because whether it's family, friends, the people you're surrounding yourself with, how does one let go of the things they know aren't good for them and also forgive them at the same time? Were you speaking with someone at the time? Were you getting kind of like, were you speaking with, or was this all internal healing you were doing on your own to get to that point?
Well, I had I think I don't know how many, like how long did it take the whole process, but somehow I think it was gradually and it was a slow process to me to uh I think there was it's a huge power in all of this is that I'm choosing myself. I chose myself. I'm always first.
Hmm.
Me, and it's not selfish. I love my parents. I almost like today I can say like I do believe we choose parents for a reason, and I'm forever grateful for them. And I also do believe somewhere, sometimes you have your soul family. Like for me now here in Bali, I found soul family. And of course, I love them still, my parents, which are in Slovakia, but we are not like, we are not in touch as much because they chose that way, and I'm okay with it.
Hmm.
So, but it's a really amazing question. It was like a gradual process, like how to forgive them and how to kind of, especially it's hard with family member. It's so hard. Like it's like in
Hmm.
this plane of earth, it's like families are the most difficult processes, all these traumatic experiences, all of it. But I think for me, the main reason is that whatever is happening, it's me first.
Hmm.
I stopped overgiving. I stopped looking after every single person, and that gives me so much power that I am able to do that. And I had some, yeah, I used to go like I did right after like finishing chemotherapy. 1 month later, I did Reiki healing course. It was like so intense. I never forget. I think it was the same year. Like that was so intense. And then like it kind of something opens up there for me. I was like, wow, this is powerful.
Hmm.
So I did like I was a Reiki practitioner for a little bit, but not so much because I knew like this Reiki course I did for myself. So it's kind of like I knew I I need to be in the process of this before I go in the world and offer it to people because there was so much for me to heal,
Hmm.
there was so much for me to heal. And I seen some like so I had some Reiki healings from someone else, from my teacher back in London. And there I had amazing friends who kind of almost looked after me. So they started to teach me like come back to your breath. That was very powerful. Breathing,
Hmm.
as people with the panic attacks or like depression that like many like I teach that today, but like many people they don't even aware that they breathing. So breath is such a powerful tool to like just come back to the middle.
Hmm.
So that I had little help, but there was I did not like for me it was enough, I guess. Like these days you have so many options to choose from and so many therapies and so many whatever. But back I think I had exactly what I needed to have. And sometimes it was overwhelming. I remember even during the chemotherapy, I had few almost like a panic attacks, but it it was somehow different. It somehow shifted from before.
Hmm.
It wasn't as intense, but I think because I started to eliminate, especially diet, especially heavy stuff to eat, like all the toxicity, all the, oh my God, everything. I just changed literally everything,
Wow.
the whole being.
Did you go kind of like a whole food type change? Did you start eating living
Yes, yeah,
foods?
I stopped
Yeah.
eating sugar. I stopped eating meat. I stopped eating gluten. I don't eat that till today. Like, don't like it's like a huge, huge, huge thing in being diagnosed in a cancer because that's toxic. Like, especially sugar. Sugar
Hmm.
loves uh cancer loves sugar. So why would I know? You know, I
Yeah.
was very strict. Like, especially after finishing chemotherapy, I went for fasting. I fasted forever, forever, forever,
Hmm.
so many detoxes, so many cleanses, like oh, and then yeah, and then 2 years later I got pregnant, and I was like,
Wow.
what?
Wow. That's
I
amazing.
could not believe it. I could
That's
just
unreal.
just a miracle. Like life
Hmm.
is honestly like one big miracle. Yeah.
Can you get your sugar from your fruits, from natural
Yes.
foods? Yeah, that's it, right? And that's,
Like I did not even have a fruit for some period of time. Like no way. It was
oh
very
wow.
like
Just
yeah,
veggies and kind of starches and
no
veggies kind of
killing.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But now
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
okay
And
having some
raw.
fruit,
Yes.
like have, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Especially here in Bali. Come on.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say
Oh,
you're in the
so
yeah. Well, I'm whole food
yeah.
plant-based myself, and I know when I go more of a junk food, vegan, eating sugar and all that, my body starts to really react and I have issues. So I'm now on a new right now I'm about a week and a half in of no sugar. I reduce almost all oil basically just because I find it triggers me. I'm eating whole food as much as I can. And I'm definitely going through a detox. There's definitely a detox period. You feel like a little groggy for a bit, but I've done this before and you feel so good. So I can understand as soon as you said that, I was really interested in the fact that you do that. So,
And I also want to just tell you that this little experience of mine. So since I stopped eating refined sugar, that was like 14 years ago. So I had refined sugar on two occasions, accidentally, kind of, yeah.
hmm.
And how I felt, oh my goodness, I both of the times, like it was in a party and like there were parents around, and I always like I'm a health freak, so I'm always checking ingredients. Like it takes me forever to eat something before I really put it in my mouth. And they said like, no, it's vegan. I'm like, there's no sugar. Oh no, my God. And then so I had a bite of biscuits, and I started to feel dizzy straight away. I started to throw up. I felt like this for 24 hours on both occasions. On both
Wow.
occasions. So I'm always saying to people, this is a story of me. This is how toxic the sugar is. Try it out without. Just try
Hmm.
it out. Just give your body the experience because it's like people don't know. People don't know what does it do to our body. And it's like, oh,
I know.
mind
Yeah.
blowing. So I'm far away from the sugar. It's no, it's a big no for me. Big, big no for me.
Do you ever have
Yeah.
like a maple syrup or anything that has any
Yeah, maple
like if
syrup's
it's
fine. Yeah.
natural, right?
Yeah, especially
It's the refined
coconut nectar.
sugars.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. If
Yeah.
refined sugar, especially the castor sugar, that's like, wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Crazy
Wow.
stuff.
Well, I'm just
Yeah.
I was because I'm really big into diet. I was really when you said that I was fascinated by it. You said a few things here. I'm choosing myself. Me, and
Mhm.
it's not selfish. If I could take anything so far that you've said, well, you've said a lot of great things so far. Um, but one that I think is really important for people to take in is that we live, for some reason, I don't know if it's through the way we're raised. I don't know what happens, but at some point, I think the large majority of us forget to look after ourselves. And instead, we decide to start looking after everyone else. And then maybe everyone will be like, will almost accept us for being a good person because we're looking after them. And we think that if we don't look after ourselves, or sorry, if we only care about ourselves, then we're a selfish person and we don't want to look like a selfish person. I've always said it's kind of that idea of if my cup isn't full, I can't give anything. I can't give anything if I haven't filled my own cup up first. right? And that is, for me, it's been a constant journey, not gonna lie, because I tend to, because I'm a loving person, a giving person. I always felt like a healer. I always felt like a natural conflict resolution person. I always felt I was the person to make everyone feel good. And it's been a constant battle for me because it's a natural tendency for me to do. And then when I go internally and say, no, I need to be, this has to be about me, I start to feel, oh no, I don't want to look like a big egoic jerk. I want to, you know, but I know exactly what you mean because as soon as you start doing things for yourself, your life changes and everyone else around you gets the best piece of who you are. They get to see who you truly are. You can't show people who you truly are if you're just trying to fix everyone else because you're empty. That's the way I look at it. So when you said that, it really spoke to me. So I appreciate you saying that. Was that a big piece of your healing?
Yeah, the only word which is coming down through me now is boundaries. Boundaries, boundaries. This is so important. And it's, as you say, Joe, it's a process also with me. But the more I'm choosing me, the more I'm powerful and the more people benefit. And these boundaries for me, it's a big thing, even now, with the clients and stuff, because I would, like 10 years ago, I would give everything to everyone free. But where would that lead me? So I do believe in those, like, almost like an energetic exchange, because even when I'm teaching people, I'm always saying, like, I would never say about myself like I'm a guru or I'm the best or choose me. No, I'm always saying I'm a little step maybe in front of you, and I'm here to take you through that stuff, you know.
Mhm.
And so it's like the boundaries, set up the boundaries, and for me it's also process because it's a slowly steps, with the
Mhm.
boundaries, and many people had leave my life, like leave my field because they are not vibrationally like matched anymore. And it's also okay. So this was also for me like big thing, but I'm okay with that because we are so attached to people. We are so attached to certain that the people seeing a certain way. And oh my God, what if they see me the way I'm really like who am I really, they
Mhm.
either like it or not. And this is it's very like a society pattern, I would say, because you are here to please everyone and you have to do what everyone likes you to do.
Mhm.
No, and that's where the big shift comes, and you have to set up those boundaries. And it's okay if some people don't like it. I'm really and like for me, it's very gradual process. And like with the time and with the work I do on my own, on myself, I feel it more in my body. I feel more my worth, I feel more like, my love, the self-love for me. I make love with me, that's the most important thing for me. And that's from this cup, as you said. Oh
Mhm.
my God, that's like just flow, like, yeah, 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 give it all. But it really is important to realize like which from which space are you giving it? You know,
Absolutely.
is it from the space of this pure love, abundance, orgasmic flow, whatever goes through you, or is it from the space of still a little bit of fear, still a little bit of insecurity, And that's again for us to see, like, this is what I should work on. This
Mhm.
is and every time I tell like truth, it feels amazing. Like I feel this orgasmic flow, like yes, this is it, like it goes
Mhm.
through my body, and like I'm just vibrating. And this is how I know, like, wow, this is me. And there's always new layer of me coming up. Sometimes it's for me, it's like, okay, this is new. But like I'm playing with it. I'm like, okay, I want this. I want this part of me. Okay, let's bring
Mhm.
it on. But it's a process, like it's a step by step. I'm always saying little steps, always better than the huge jumps.
See, and what I would
Yes.
say, I love all that. And what I would say is the way you're describing it, where if someone's listening right now, if the audience is listening, I'm wondering, okay, what's this all about? What's going on? Think about this for a moment. You're describing doing things for yourself and finding love for yourself, being in love with yourself, not from a what's the word? Not from a place of being a what's someone who just only cares about themselves and doesn't just a word I can't think of right now. It doesn't matter,
Yeah.
but these weren't things you were doing before. Meaning,
No.
like this feeling you just had, the feeling you described, right? Before your illness, you never had that experience in your life at all. So let's all think about that for a moment, right? Because if you're having an experience now that you never experienced before, how's that even possible? You're the same human being, right? You're the same human being. So what it means is you've shifted something within yourself and become the trueness of who you are. What happens is we're born into a family, we're raised by the family. We take on the characteristics of the family. We can take on the characteristics of our friends. We take on the characteristics that society tells us to do. And then we become a robot for everyone else. I think majority of people live like this until they're faced with a crisis. And some people get through it, some people don't. Some people maybe don't make that decision. They're like, I'm out of here. And some people are like, I'm going to stay. And I have a true belief of what happens beyond with how many people I talk to, but it doesn't mean we should all want to go because you can live a beautiful life here and grow and get better and heal and all these things. And what really struck me is that you're saying you were started experiencing these moments of gratitude and these things that you didn't have before. And it's because you're going at things from a different place. You're still human, and I'm sure there's still moments that come up, and you have to remind yourself, hey, been there, done that. I remember what happened when I did that. Let's reflect and come back. And what I wanted to know, if you do run into those moments now that you're in this healing side of your life, how do you re-ground yourself in those moments? Can you be a little vulnerable for one and tell us, for people out there that are thinking that, oh, she's got it all figured out, what do you do when you don't have it figured out?
Of course, I don't have it all figured out, and that's the beauty of it. If we all have it figured out, it would be so boring. Honestly, people, it would be boring. I don't have it. Like I'm happy now. I'm always trying to be happy. I'm always happy, but of course, life gives me also some lessons, even now. So what I do, I just love myself at that moment. I'm just choosing to be alone, put the music on because medicine dance is the medicine number one for me, intuitive dancing, and I allow myself to feel it fucking all, like all of it. And so I go into these practices like now with the full moon. Like yesterday, I cried. I cried like a small child. I like little Stana cried because she wanted to cry. And I just danced and moved through it. This is what I teach. This is such an important thing. I was disconnected from my body. My soul was not even in my body. Part of my souls, even before diagnosis, they were all over the place, different dimension. So my work here is actually bring, call all of them back in the middle.
Mm,
And once we all have them back, yeah, let's start to work. Let's connect. And connection to my body, to my heart, to my womb, to every single cell of mine, and talking to it, that's the medicine with the dance for me. This is what I do.
mm,
Really, well, even if my husband is around, like, can you just please leave? I need to be alone now for 2 hours. And that's what I do. This is such an important thing. Plus gratitude. Gratitude is also like number one, number two in my life. Every single morning, every single evening, I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful for every single breath in and out. I'm grateful for talking to Joe Borowsky at the moment. Uh, Whatever is there, I'm grateful for the sun shining on my face. Gratitude, 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 because many people are completely disconnected from their bodies.
mm,
They don't want to, and it's okay because in a certain part of our lives, the soul is like, oh, it's too much for the soul. It's too heavy. So part of it leaves because we don't want to be there. We don't want to see it. We don't want to be part of it. It's like people running away from it, from the true feelings. But I always say to all my clients, the only way to go through it is to feel it all over again, all over again, all over again, until you don't feel it, until you release it. And
Wow.
allowing yourself, allowing, that's a big word, people. Allow yourself to feel it all. It's okay. Allow yourself to cry. Allow yourself to be touched by yourself. Explore. This is like a powerful, wow. Again, I feel those like, "Rah!" Everything is vibrating around me. So, yeah, this is my medicine. It's huge. I can go still like deeper and deeper, and the deeper you go, the more layers there is. It's okay because the more you decide to go, or the more you allow yourself to go to, the easier and gentle it becomes. And it's okay to have someone who will hold the space for you. It's absolutely fine to ask for help.
Hmm. I like how you said to feel it over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Because I think what happens a lot of times is we'll feel what's deep. We'll get through that moment and go, okay, all right. And we never explore to see if it's still there because maybe we think, oh, it's not good to go there again. But maybe it is because you can get rid of it. You said it softens, right? So if something's really traumatic, sometimes it is difficult to re-emerge those traumas, and I understand that. I've never been good at ignoring any kind of trauma, though. For some reason, for me specifically, it needs to be acknowledged and released somehow. I know there are people out there that believe that it's not good to bring them up, and everyone's got their own outlook on that. But I will, if I'm talking to someone like you who knows that that's how it helped heal you, then I can't say that it doesn't work, right? So it might be good to deal with those things in a safe space. And if it's within yourself or with someone I love how you said that if someone's with you to support you, that's important too. But just absolutely amazing stuff. You said that you work with clients. Have you seen other people you've worked with heal through their illnesses or traumas the same way that have you helped people through this at this point?
Yes, mostly until now I've worked with the women's, so I'm really uh, through the programs I'm offering or like one-on-one. So I like it. What opens up for me is like I'm doing womb healing sessions, womb healing activations for women because for me to be connected to the womb, I call it either universe or a second universe. That's absolutely madness what's in there, honestly. So for a woman, when women will connect to this part of themselves, that's mind blowing. That's honestly mind blowing. So I'm
Hmm.
holding this safe space for women, especially who would love to address to that space because we're holding so much in that honestly, like beyond, we're holding so much there as a women because we are unique. And now, so I help many women be on this path or working one on one or through the programs, which I call it always like coming home to yourself, coming home to love yourself.
Hmm.
And then recently, so it took me good 12 years, I created this beautiful, beautiful program, which is called Feel Alive. It's 21-day journey where it's like people have like 21 videos recorded by me. It's very basic, so it's not overwhelming, and it's designed for people who have been diagnosed with cancer or they are after treatment or as a prevention. So this is like last couple of months with me, and I put it make it out there, and it's just absolutely mind blowing. I wish I had something like that, and it's really uh, in really basic form so people understand that it's not overwhelming because I get it. The people are in shock still, like you receive diagnosis like, what do I do? People don't know. people don't know what to do.
Hmm.
So this is why I crafted and designed this beautiful safe space for people to go through 21-day journey. 21 is a magical number because it takes 21 days for the mind, for like almost like I would say ego, or like for your system to just ground with changes,
Hmm.
So that's why I decided 21. So this is how I'm serving humanity. But there was a process, honestly. There was a process for me. And it's yet when I started like beginning of the year, like, okay, let's do something like that. I think I'm ready. Because I was not for many, many years. I was trying like, especially like 5 years after treatment, I was like, I couldn't even hear the word cancer.
Mm.
Now, how I shifted it, even like the title, I was playing with the title and I was trying to find different words instead of cancer. But now, what I do when I read about cancer or I talk about it, that means bliss. So I, instead of cancer, I see bliss.
You say
That, like,
bliss.
yeah, bliss. Yeah,
Mm.
like a bliss or a gift because
A gift.
honestly, truly, this was a gift for me.
Hmm.
Even though might be some people might think like, are you crazy? How can this be a gift for me? It was huge. For some people needs to be this way. I was one of them.
Hmm.
But I'm forever grateful, honestly. I'm forever grateful because uh, I don't think I would be sitting here. Somehow if the universe or however you want to call it, God giving you all these like, okay, have a look, and it's repeating all over again, and we still not listen. You can go like this forever. Yeah, you can live your life like this, but is it worth it? Like when you are 60, or I would say like I want to live 200 years. Okay, so when you are, let's say 70, yeah, and you are lying in the bed, and what you gonna like? What? Are you gonna say like, really? This is it?
Right.
No way. Don't do that. No way. You don't
Yeah.
need to. No, change your life now. You can do it. You always have a choice.
Wow. I
Yeah.
love that. That's so amazing. So you and you're very inspirational the way you're talking too, because that's I've always felt that. Some yes, you can live your life to 70, 80, 100, but not really find yourself. And at
Yeah.
the end, if you haven't found yourself, you're gonna have those questions in your mind. You're gonna say, what was that? Like, what was the point of that? Whereas that's why I can see that you can see it as a gift. And I know that's probably very hard for some people to hear because I know how it affects people um, in this
Yeah.
world. But if you can look at it from a different point or a different perspective and try to see it from a different area, a lot of Soul Inspired is around people who've crossed over and come back and seen loved ones and things like that. And it does give people comfort to know that their loved ones are okay. Um,
Mm.
but if we're staying here, why not do it in a way that's going to really bring out the true essence of who we are? And that's what I think that you've been working on for the last however many years since the diagnosis, right? So you said you work with clients. How do people get in contact with you? Because is there like a website or because you said there was a
Yeah.
21-day journey program, a program called Coming Home to Yourself. I was writing some of these down, but I don't know how do
Yeah.
people get in contact?
So I have a website. It's called motheryourselfnow.com. And there is there's a ways to work with me. And there is also those two programs. So one it's called Mother Yourself. That's the 5 weeks journey for designed for women. And the other one is Beautiful Feel Alive. So people can read about that, purchase it if they want to. The point of this program, this is another thing I just wanted to mention. The Feel Alive, it doesn't mean I'm gonna heal you.
Mhm.
I'm not here to heal you. That needs to be your decision, right?
Mm.
But I'm here to take your hand and take you through this journey because I know how important it is to have someone to be there, maybe even with the same experience or very similar. That's so important to have someone.
Mhm.
And then like what come what came through me was also like following these 21 days. I'm gonna be doing like a group coaching calls twice a month. It's going to be option of subscription for 3 months, where we go deeper in each topics. And I think that's where real magic will happen. Because as
Mm.
a group, I always found like there's so much shift happening and so much healings when you really have that sacred and safe space to express yourself, to to leave it all there, even if it's not nice, because especially people going through treatments, that's intense, you know,
Hmm. Hmm.
all sorts of emotions and feeling coming up. So yeah, so there's Mother Yourself now. I will share that also with you, the links, so people can have a look if they feel to be called to explore more or work with me. Yeah.
That's great. Just when you started to get to this place where you felt like you were now on the other side of all this, and was there ever a moment where, because I look at what you're doing now and I'm thinking this is maybe the moment that led you to what you're doing now, but was there ever a moment where you thought to yourself, wow, like I know the secret now, like I understand what I'm doing now, like as opposed to the life previous, the 30-year-old before. Was there a moment where you're like, oh my gosh, I want everyone to know that this is the way you're supposed to live, not like this? Like, did you ever have that kind of moment where is that because you said that now you feel like you're at a place where you want to help others, like you kind of got to that place. Is that what did it? Was there ever a moment where you just had that moment like, oh my goodness, what was I doing before?
It all happened kind of like step by step. I had no idea that this is gonna be, and I found my mission. I think this is it. This is why I'm here. I think the more and more I'm embodying, the more and more I'm like working with, like as I'm saying, I now go because of the connection to me, of the connection to my body. Now I can feel what's right for me.
Mm,
If you allow yourself to connect, your body will tell you there is always an answer. Whatever questions you have, sit with it, breathe. The first thing which comes is an answer, even if it sounds crazy as hell. And even if people tell you, are you crazy? It's not going to work. It will for you because you are unique.
mm,
And that's like, so I did not know this is going to be part of me, but I always knew, like, especially right after maybe 7 years ago, I came up with the program like changing diets in 21 days, really changing menu, whatever, meal plan. And that's what I was doing back in London. But I did like, I was not like, I was still really like unsecure and I'm unsure, like, how would it work, So I had few clients but that led to that kind of like, it was beautiful but different than now because
mm.
of the work I have been through. So it wasn't always like that. No, I had a moment like after um chemotherapy where I was like, okay, what was I gonna? I just knew I don't want to do what I was doing till then.
Hmm.
I knew that, and then I got pregnant and everything changed. And oh my God, that's another
Right.
level.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was just curious if you
yeah,
had seen things different and thought how interesting it is that you're seeing things the way you do now as opposed to before. It's almost like a bit of a
yeah,
personality shift. So there must be a
yeah,
little bit of a moment where you are like, wow, I wasn't, and I wish, I hope, I always have these hopes for our future that these types of conversations, these types of teachings will be in our schools, will will grow up to understand these things more. Like we've gone too far the other way. It's like we need to come back to the balance of the earth or something. There's something that we
yeah,
shifted the wrong way. And I feel like we're getting there. It's just coming in spurts. And people like
yeah.
yourself and, just are leading the way. So I've loved this. The last thing I ask everybody, and it's always the same way, the way I preface it. It's just to ask you if you were to think from a whole, from humanity, the way we are, human beings, not just your specific life in general, but
Yeah.
everybody. If you can sum it up or have some kind of understanding of why do we come here? Why do you believe, what is our purpose to coming and living this life and doing this thing we call living on Earth?
We come here to play. exactly as we are, imperfectly perfect. Please remember, you are imperfectly perfect. You are unique. There is nobody on planet Earth who is the same like you. You are unique. And just play. We came here to play. Just use all these tools. It's like a playground, you know. I see it like a playground, and I learned so much from my daughter, and I'm still do because she was showing me. She was started to show me like,
Mm.
Mama, when was the last time you played? Come on. So I'm playing. Just play,
Right.
people, because don't take life seriously because we are here and then we transfer somewhere else. It's not the end, right? And
Hmm.
that's also a process. That's another topic. That of everyone is just afraid of that, but like enjoy wherever you are. You can, play at the playground of life on Mother Earth, please. You are imperfectly perfect.
Oh, I love that. That's
This is the
amazing.
reason why we're here, I think. And everyone has a unique mission,
Mhm.
So I'm really, my wish for whole humanity and my intention is to find it, to dig deep, to come to the core. Why am I here? And your life might completely shift and change, and it might sound crazy, but crazy is also good, you know?
Mhm.
It's okay. Yeah.
I always feel blessed when I can talk to people like yourself and get these my own personal insights. I mean, I'm putting out the show and people get to tune in and listen, but I start to witness a lot of commonalities between guests that have had some life experiences, and this idea of playing has come up plenty of times, that sometimes we take life way too serious. And somehow when we're children, we want to play, but we start to lose that. And I think that if we were all able to do that and play in life, it might change a lot of our life experiences, just that one little thing. So I love that. Thank you so much. I always turn to the audience to say, please continue to like, share, and subscribe so we can keep getting people on the show like Stana. I almost said your full name again, but we really appreciate you being on the show and sharing your life experience.
Thank you so much, Joe. It was a privilege and it feels really good, and I feel like I would talk to you forever. You are an amazing person. Hope you know that.
Mm.
You are a beautiful, beautiful soul who has a big, big mission here. So I hope to stay in touch with you, and huge, huge gratitude. My heart is expanding. Thank you.
So